Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today for a new pick a card reading. For anyone that might be new to my channel, welcome in. My name is Melissa, and the topic we'll be reading on for today's video is, why did you meet this person? So essentially what I'm going to be digging into in today's video is the deeper reason why you and this person met up in this lifetime. For some of you, you might understand this, but for those that don't, some people believe that we are actually pre-contracted to meet certain people in our lifetimes to learn a specific lesson. So we may refer to this as soul contracts. So that's essentially what we're looking at today, is like any person that you guys are thinking of, romantic or not, if you're just curious to understand like what the deeper lesson was behind this relationship, this will be a really great video for you to watch. So what I'm going to be doing is looking at the joined energy in the connection, what it was that kind of brought the two of you together. And then we're going to kind of take a look at the lesson learned for each person within this connection. So you'll kind of get a nice deep dive of both sides as well as just the collective energy of your relationship overall. As I was mentioning, this does not have to necessarily pertain to a love or romantic sort of relationship. This can be any connection in your life that you're just curious to know the deeper meaning behind. Okay? So keep in mind, this is a general reading. Some messages may resonate very specifically while others may not. Just always take what resonates with you, leave behind anything that doesn't. If you do want to book a personal reading, all the details on how you can do that will be linked in the description box down below. So let's go ahead and get into our card selection. So for this reading, we're working with 3 piles. Starting on the left, we have pile 1 with a strawberry quartz gem. We have pile 2 with a pyrite. And then pile 3, we have some pink Himalayan salt. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Think about this person, think about this connection. Go ahead and select the crystal or card you're feeling the most intuitively connected to, really selecting with your gut instincts and your intuition versus your eyesight. And once you've made your choice, you can scroll down to the description box below where you will find the link or the timestamp taking you straight away to your reading. See you there. Hello there, group number 1. If you guys picked out this beautiful strawberry quartz, let's go ahead and see what the soul contract was or is between you and this person you're thinking about, or what the deeper lesson was for you with regard to this connection, okay? So I'm going to start with the joining energy here. So for you guys, we have the energy of commitment. We have lightning. Okay. And then we also have meditation, the crown chakra. Okay, I'm going to put this here. For each person in the connection, we have lapis lazuli. We have the firefly. Wow, we have the world card. We have the page of cups. Okay. We have memories, and we have wounded. All right, give me a second, pile 1. All right, sorry, I had to get us all straightened up, group 1. So let's first start off with the energy that was joining this connection together, or that is joining this connection together. Kind of like we're looking at the center card as like what it was that connects you with this person, and maybe why you were both drawn to each other to begin with. And then these energies here on the sides will kind of represent each person's individual journey or lesson that was triggered from this connection. So starting off here with the center energy, we've got commitment, lightning, and we have the crown chakra. So I definitely believe that for both parties here, especially with the crown chakra being here, this was a connection that really prompted some sort of a spiritual awakening for each of you. There was a lot of spiritual wisdom I feel that was gained from being in this relationship. And I feel like here, this is talking about meditation. To see more clearly, close your eyes. So I almost feel like there was something around being able to really see realistically what the situation was versus what we hoped or wished for it to be. There could have been a lot of confusion in this relationship for some of you, maybe for both parties here. Maybe there was confusion here or uncertainty at one point in this connection. And this meditation is talking about like needing to see things as they are, needing to see things more clearly, needing to kind of calm down a little bit is what I feel, to be able to like almost calming down any emotion so that you're able to see it accurately, if that makes sense. We also have the lightning energy here of power. And this is a really like, this is a lot of energy in this card, right? We've got the ocean here, which is like really rough and crazy looking. There's a lot of emotion when we see water. So I definitely feel that this connection was one that was of, maybe there was heightened emotion here. So whether this manifested within the relationship itself or each person individually kind of held their emotions in, there was a lot of emotion here. And with the lightning, it makes me feel like there was a lot of, I don't know why the word volatility is coming to mind. That may not be the case for all of you. You're going to know your situation better than, me specifically, right? You'll know the specifics more. But just the way that this lightning is like striking down on the water, it just makes me feel like there was someone or something happening in this connection or a dynamic that was at play that really had the ability to like trigger emotional reaction in the other for the good or the bad, which is kind of interesting, which, this happens in connections, right? With commitment being here as well, this definitely makes me feel like this was someone or is someone that you all might be connected to. Maybe this was a long-term relationship for some of you or someone you've known for a long time. Maybe some of you guys kind of like went through some ups and downs in this connection for a long time. For others of you, if you were not necessarily committed to this person, I think kind of going back to this energy of meditation and seeing things more clearly, this could also be talking about like both parties here that were kind of holding on to something, perhaps like past its expiration date. This card too, with the power, the lightning, also talks about being able to be in control of your situation too. Knowing that you have the power within to create what it is that you want, the confidence even. So I'm also feeling for some of you guys, there could have been some sort of a subtle like power struggle in this relationship too. And maybe that was causing a little bit of emotional volatility for some. So let's kind of take a look at each individual person here and what we have going on. So this person over here, and you guys know if you watch these videos that I do, like you could resonate with either side. I try to leave it up to you to decide with your own intuition which side you resonate with more and which side your person would resonate with more, because everyone's situation is different, you know what I mean? So I just like to leave it more open for interpretation. And you may actually find that you can resonate with both sides sometimes, because in a lot of connections we mirror one another. So starting off over here with person number one, we've got the World, Lapis Lazuli, and Memories. So the Lapis Lazuli is saying enhancing self-respect, okay? It's interesting too, like I'm just kind of noticing how we have like yellow and we have blue. And when I look at this card, this lightning is like this bright yellowy orange color. We have the blue water. I don't know if maybe this person was the lightning and this person is the water. That could be the case for some of you, because the firefly is also talking about illumination, things becoming more clear, right? And so this person, maybe this person over here on the right realized through this connection that they do have power. We're going to get to them in a second. But then this person is like, maybe if they're representing more the water and they're more affected by this person's power, this person's actions, if you will. So with Lapis Lazuli talking about enhancing self-respect, I think that the person in this relationship, whether you guys are still connected to this person or not, you learned or are learning, or they learned or are learning how to be more confident in themselves, how to stand in their own power, how to stand up for themselves, maybe how to set better boundaries in connections, which would make a lot of sense with the water being so like, when I think of water energy of emotion, like if you're not someone who's been able to master being in control of your emotions and the way that you react to things, then sometimes, water can be really easily moved. Water is fluid, it's swayable, it can be easily rocked with just the wind or motion with your hand, right? So I feel like the person here on the left really had to learn in this connection, or is currently learning in this connection, how to set better boundaries, how to remain in control of their emotions, how to stand up for themselves even is coming through. Even if this connection wasn't necessarily a volatile one, you guys, there could have just been, because you guys do have commitment joining here, which is really nice to see. So even if you guys are still with this person and you're like, what? This isn't volatile for me, like whatever. All of this stuff could be talking about like things from the past that you guys brought into the connection that you were working on healing as you met this person, right? So it may not necessarily be that this person was like a horrible person to lapis lazuli or vice versa. It could just be that there were certain things that you both brought in that sort of triggered some healing in the other, if that makes sense. I think that this person, with enhancing their self-respect and the world card being here, like they really closed out a major cycle here around their self-confidence and their self-respect and learning to have stronger boundaries and harmony within relationships. The world is huge because this really talks about like the closing of a major lesson in your lifetime, the closing out of a major, major cycle. So it could be that this connection has ended for the lapis lazuli person. Maybe it's just the energy that's ended, right? Let's see what this world card actually says. This talks about overseas trips, money, luck, world in the palm of your hand, new opportunities. Yeah. So this was an opportunity for the lapis lazuli person to really kind of just stand up and become a little bit more independent, a little bit more confident in themselves. We also have memories here. I do not focus on what is already gone. I choose to show up fully for myself and others in the present moment. Interesting. So that's kind of why I say like perhaps this person like brought in some sort of stuff from the past, some sort of memory or energy, like bad energy that they were holding on to from the past. And through this connection, they were learning how to release those bad memories and really embrace a new type of connection, a new type of energy here. Now, for others of you, like if you're out of contact with this person, I think that what this person learned, lapis lazuli, was how to move forward from a relationship and not necessarily cling on to something that may have lasted past its expiration date, which is sort of what I was getting with that crown chakra energy too. And that would make sense with the world, kind of closing out a major chapter or cycle. Now, we also have over here person B, the firefly person, excuse me. We have illumination with the firefly, the page of cups, and then we have wounded. So I want to start here. This card says, I will not allow toxic people from the past ruin me for future encounters. I take my power back now. You see? Yes. Okay. This person is that lightning that's coming in here for sure. So it's possible that this person, as they came into this relationship, maybe they had been in a lot of toxic connections, whether it's romantic, friendships, whatever. Both of you guys actually came in, I think, with past wounds in this relationship. And so this person over here really had to learn like how to release the past, or maybe they are currently learning how to release the past here, and not project bad behavior from past people onto this person. And maybe this is why like we have this, this person showing up here as the lightning, right? This person over here, the firefly person, was learning how to be a little bit more confident, learning how to stand in their power again. And they're also showing up here with the page of cups, which is more of like a new beginning type of energy. It's more of like a youthful type of energy. So this person, I think, might have been like newer to being in their power. And sometimes when you're newer to being on a certain path, you don't always know how to like properly channel your energy. Does that make sense? So it could be that this is why like we have them showing up with this bright lightning energy, really powerful, which was potentially rocking the boat of the lapis lazuli person. I don't think it was like necessarily intentional. I think that this person was just really learning what their own power was and how to stand up for themselves as well. But the page of cups is beautiful because this is like a really kind, caring energy. This is also about emotional expression. So I feel like this person had to really learn was learning emotional expression through this connection as well. Pages are also really kind of young, youthful, like I was mentioning, more childlike energy. So it's also quite possible that through this illumination energy here, this person kind of learned maybe the way that they express themselves emotionally needed work, right? Maybe they kind of saw something of significance around the way that they express and communicate with others and share their feelings. So I think I'm going to pull just a couple more cards here before we close this out for each of you. So let's get a clarifier here for each person in this connection regarding like why the two of you met each other. So in short, this connection feels like it was very healing for each of you. And it might, even if you're still with this person, there's definitely still healing going on here. And there may have been moments where it felt a little bumpy, right? That's really what I'm getting with that lightning card, that it felt a little bumpy. But this is why we have meditation and being able to see the spiritual lesson in it. I think both of you kind of got a spiritual upgrade and higher levels of self-awareness through being connected to one another. So let's clarify the lapis lazuli person. What was the lesson they learned from this connection, please? Yes, so we have fear. Okay, this person might have been a little fearful of commitment, or just emotional connection in general. What about this firefly person? Let's get one more card for them. Maturity. Yes. Okay, that's exactly what I was getting, you guys. This is crazy. And look at this. At the bottom of the deck, we have healing. Yes, this connection is or was very healing for both of you. This person over here had to learn, or is learning, how to face their fears in relationships, closing out a major chapter around, like, especially around this memories stuff, you guys, like not focusing on the past, not focusing on things from the past that don't serve them anymore. Definitely closing out a tougher chapter here, like maybe hiding from love or hiding from really facing certain aspects of themselves. And then our person over here with that Page of Cups, like I was saying, the Page of Cups is more immature kind of energy. So the way this person expressed themselves emotionally may have been a little immature. And I think that was really highlighted and illuminated for this person here, which is why we have maturity. This is all about like a connection deepening. And for this person individually, it's about like them being able to sort of grow up in this relationship, learn how to have more mature communication, emotional expression, and learning that like just because people from the past did something, it doesn't mean that my lapis lazuli person is doing that. Do you understand? So this is very cool. So I would love to hear from you guys, group one, in the comments, how this message resonated. Are you still connected to this person? Is this person someone you're no longer in communication with? It feels like it could go either way for this group with the commitment card being here. But let me know. I would love to hear your comments. Thank you guys for taking the time to view today's reading. If you did enjoy, please subscribe, and I will see you in another reading very soon. Bye. Hi there, group two. Excuse me. If you all picked out this pyrite cluster, this is going to be your reading. We're going to dive in and see like what the deeper lesson was behind you meeting the person you're thinking of. So we're going to start with joining energies. So we have the energy of conclusion here. We also have the ocean. Beautiful card. And from the chakra deck, we have the throat chakra, vulnerability. Okay. For each of our individual people and what they took away from this connection, we have honey, sweeten your approach. We have La Luna, inner flow and cycle. Wow, we have the Ace of Cups. Okay. We have the Eight of Cups. We have awareness. And we have behavior. Interesting. Okay. I may pull some more cards. We're just going to kind of go with the flow here. I did pull more for group one, so we'll just kind of see what comes in. So starting off with the joining energy of this connection. So first and foremost, I do feel like for a lot of you guys, you may not necessarily be in communication with this person as you're viewing this video, or if you are, it might be kind of like at a distance. The reason I feel this way is because we do have the conclusion here. And in this card, we have kind of like a lock and key, and everything's covered in this icy snow energy, right? So when I think of snow and ice, I think of winter, which makes me think of a break, kind of a hibernation period here. But I don't necessarily feel like this is forever. We also have an Eight of Cups on this person's side, which is usually like a temporary separation, right? Usually we go away, we come back. We'll get to them in a minute. But it makes me feel like you and this person right now are not necessarily in communication. But I think with ebb and flow coming in here with the Ocean card, you know, this ebb and flow is talking about like the tide coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And it makes me feel like you guys might be sort of in like an on and off again sort of communication or connection with this person. Like maybe sometimes they're in your life, sometimes they're not in your life. And it's just sort of like this energy of learning to go with the flow, I feel. That's like the shared energy here. I also do think with the Ocean, and we have a lot of cups here too, there's definitely an energy around emotion being highlighted in this connection because water does talk about emotion, right? And with ebb and flow, this is making me feel like emotions could be perhaps unstable in this connection, or maybe they kind of change here and there with time. There definitely seems to be more of an energy of like fluidity here versus like stability, if that makes sense. I also think in terms of lessons that you each are learning here, I feel like you guys both learned in this connection how to maybe kind of go with the flow, maybe how to accept the other person for who they are, accept how everyone is on their own journey, and learning to just like release and let go of needing to like control the situation or try to force something in an unnatural way, if that makes sense. That makes sense with conclusions too, because it's like when we are concluding something, we are sort of like releasing and letting it go and not worrying so much about when it's coming back or how it's coming back. It's almost like that was a major lesson for you both of like concluding the need to control and really allowing that connection to flow naturally, if that makes sense. Now, we also have the throat chakra being highlighted here, which talks about vulnerability. Showing vulnerability is a sign of strength. So there is a lesson here, or was a lesson here for this connection around communication too, which is interesting because you guys both have a lot of emotion coming up in your personal lessons here. There's a lot of emotion here with the Ocean card, but then we have this random card about the throat chakra. So, you know, I think that communication is something that was highlighted for each of you. Whether you each mastered the lesson or not is going to be up to you to decide. But vulnerability is when you feel comfortable and confident enough to just speak your emotional truth to the other person. Speak up and say how it is that you feel. And maybe there was, you know, confusion on that, or maybe, you know, I just keep being drawn back to the Ocean of like the ebb and flow, go with the flow, right? So it's like maybe for some of you, one person in this connection was able to be vulnerable while the other one wasn't, or something like that. But there's something here that was a lesson around being able to find strength in just emotional expression and learning how to speak how you really feel very authentically. Intuitively, I feel like this person, the honey person, was the one that like was maybe able to do it. I'm not 100% sure about this person over here. So let's dial it over here first. So person one, the honey person, we're going to call them. We have honey, sweeten your approach. We have the Ace of Cups, and we have awareness, right? So this person, I think, became a lot more aware in this connection of how they were coming across to the other. I think that this person has a very like awakened crown chakra because of how like this is highlighted here on her crown. So it's like this person, I think, just in general, through this relationship, learned how to be more in alignment with self, learned how to be more alignment with their emotions and how they feel. And this even talks about being aligned with purpose. So maybe this honey person learned that this person maybe wasn't in alignment with their purpose, or something like that may have come to the light for the honey person. So with sweetening your approach, I feel like the honey person became aware of the way that they were coming across in some way in this relationship. And the Ace of Cups is a beautiful card all about emotion. And I do think of emotional expression and vulnerability with the Ace of Cups. This person had a lot of feelings, or has a lot of feelings for the other, a lot of emotion for the other. And I feel like they learned how to express, or at least became aware that they need to express themselves in a more healthy way, especially with sweetening the approach. You know, if there was volatility or ebb and flow in this connection, I think that this person over here became aware of maybe ways that they weren't necessarily helping the situation through their emotional expression here. And I think they learned that just to ask for what they need. I think this person really learned how to be vulnerable and to share this overflow of emotion, really open up their heart, and share with the other person how they were really feeling here. So this was a big lesson for this person, like, because it's not always easy being vulnerable and just totally expressing like how you feel to someone else. You really got to put yourself out there. But I think that this person mastered it, is what I feel. Now, the La Luna person, this is interesting because we've got the inner flow and cycle, the Eight of Cups, and we have behavior. So this person intuitively is where I kind of feel like, especially because we have you have the ocean, which is talking about ebb and flow, and you've got La Luna, which is inner flow and cycles. And we also know that the moon, you also have a moon here. This is so funny. The moon, it has an effect on the tide of the ocean, right? So I'm kind of feeling like the La Luna person had a lot more of an effect on the stability of this connection, because they're showing up here as the moon. They're showing up as inner flow and cycle. I think that person maybe they had a little bit of instability toward this connection, or their mood or their emotions really affected this relationship in either a positive or a negative way. And it's interesting as well that they have behavior here. This talks about, I will not engage in behaviors that don't align with my values and belief systems. When I do this, no one benefits. So it's making me feel like this person had a lot of maybe like inner conversation with themselves. They had a lot of maybe inner emotional turmoil. Maybe for whatever reason, the dynamic at play in this connection wasn't working for them. Or maybe they had a realization here that their own behavior was having more of an impact on the connection itself than they would have liked. Okay. And so with that Eight of Cups here, this person really learned, okay, I have to they learned to basically walk away or distance themselves from connections that weren't serving them, or I think also behavior that wasn't serving them. And I kind of feel like this person may have walked away with the Eight of Cups here to do a little bit of self-exploration around their own behavior and the way that their emotions and their moods were really affecting this connection. It's interesting too, because in this deck, they have little keywords for what the card means. We have money problems coming up first. This person may have also had external factors that were affecting the connection here. And I think that they came to a realization that those external factors were causing them to show up in a way to this connection that wasn't necessarily serving them. I'm not sure how well this person was really able to communicate this to the honey person. Because with the Eight of Cups, this is when we walk away. So this talks about turning your back and walking away, knowing nothing more can be done. And I think that this person learned that. I think that they learned that nothing more could happen here until they kind of get themselves together. Okay, so let's get a couple more cards here, just out of curiosity. So what did you guys learn from each other? I think that this person over here really learned about being more aware of their emotions, being able to express how they feel in a kind, compassionate way. This person, I think, learned that there were some aspects of their own behavior that needed work. or external forces that need to be addressed before they can come back into this connection, okay? This person, I really think, had a huge effect on the connection's stability and this ebb and flow energy, because they might be the one, they come across as the one that has more kind of inner work to do here. And so they may have been kind of in and out for you guys, or feeling maybe unstable. So, okay, let's take a look at the honey person. Let's get one more card for them. What did they learn from this connection? Security. Yes. Okay. And then the La Luna person. What did this person learn from this connection? Clarifying this energy. Soul connection. Wow. We do have romance on the bottom. So this could have been a romantic relationship for a lot of you. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but yeah, I think that, you know, this person over here, this person wants security. You know what I mean? I feel like that was a major lesson for them in this relationship. And I don't know if they were necessarily getting the security the whole time. And maybe this was part of the awakening that they had, you know, because this ebb and flow really isn't secure. But the other thing I get is that I think this person also learned to stand more securely in themselves, right? And to realize, kind of going back to our joining energy here, that like when a situation is unstable or we can't like predict someone else's actions, like you find security in just accepting the situation for what it is, right? Like the conclusion here for this person was like, okay, this situation is not stable, so I'm just going to expect for it to be unstable and find security in that. I'm not going to try to force it to be something that it might not be. This person over here, I think, definitely had an awakening from this relationship with soul connection coming in. I think that the honey person really taught this person a lesson around like their own behavior and the way that they are showing up in relationships, not always serving them in their highest good. And I do think that this person recognizes that. I mean, with soul connection coming out, that's pretty major. Like, I definitely think the La Luna person sees that they learned this through the honey person. Like, they learned more about their own behavior through connecting with this person. And I think the honey person actually probably showed up as being really sweet and kind to this other person. I think that this person provided a lot of stability for the La Luna person, even though they themselves may not have been able to provide it in return. And this is what kind of magnified this journey for La Luna. I think this is why they needed to kind of distance themselves so that they could work on their own behavior and their own sense of inner stability before they come back into a connection. So this doesn't necessarily feel like it could be a connection that's over forever. I kind of get the vibe with the ebb and flow that this person might come back. And the Eight of Cups for me too kind of just signifies like a temporary emotional distancing from something. So I do think there's potential for this person to maybe come back in the future if you all wanted that. But yeah. So I think I'm going to close it out there, group 2. I would love to hear how this message resonates. So drop me a comment down below and let me know. Do you, which side do you resonate with? Are you the honey person? Are you the La Luna person? Let me know. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in a new one really soon. Bye. Hey there, group 3. If you all picked out the pink Himalayan salt, this will be your reading where we're going to see kind of the deeper reason why you met this person that you're thinking about. What's the soul contract potentially here? So we're going to start with joining energy. So we have lessons. All right. We have childhood. And we have, hold on. We have chakra balance, unity, okay? We have blue coming up for one person. And we have sapphire for the other one. We have the 7 of Cups. The Queen of Cups. We have vulnerable. And we have equality. Ooh, okay. How interesting. All right, pile 3. So we're going to continue here, start off, with the joining energy. So first and foremost, there's definitely a lot of kind of like compatible energies that I'm seeing on both sides, which makes sense because the joining energy here is the energy of lessons. So that really tells me that this definitely was probably a deeper soul contract that you had with this person. I think this person was a soulmate for a lot of you. Because both of you specifically learned a lesson together. This is the only group that's actually had a card talking about a lesson for the joining energy, right? Which is huge. We also have the chakra balance, which talks about unity. This says the only illusion is separation. So it's like, I think that you and this person came together to learn this lesson, but I also think that you learned or are learning a lesson even being in separation from this person as well. Like there's deeper learning to be had no matter what the situation you're in with them. And with childhood coming up, this is so beautiful. I love this card. But childhood is telling me that I think that you and this person may have been working out some sort of issue or some sort of pattern of behavior that you both learned in relationships in childhood. So maybe each of you kind of had some sort of, I don't want to say trauma because I feel like it's a strong word. It could be. But there was something that you all were modeled in childhood around relationships that I think was illuminated for you in this relationship with this person. I think that you learned some sort of lesson that really roots back to your upbringing and your roots and your childhood, okay, which is really deep. So you both have blue cards here and you both have cups here, which is really interesting. And that's why I'm saying there's a lot of things you kind of each took away that were similar or are taking away now. So blues typically have to do with communication, the throat chakra. So I think that both of the people in this relationship had to learn something around the way that they communicate, the way that they listen, and the way that they authentically express their truth to the other. There's also cups here, which talk about emotions. So there was a lesson here also with the throat chakra around emotional expression as well. So are we able to be vulnerable with the other person? Are we able to really feel safe in this connection to express our truth, right? So we're going to start over here with the blue person. So we've got blue, charity and trust. We have the 7 of cups and we have vulnerable. This says, opening my heart to the experience of love is truly living. So I feel like this person, the blue person, in this connection may have come across as a little confused or a little scattered. This person may also have been really having their head in the clouds with this relationship, not seeing things clearly. But I also think that this person could have been or is a little bit of like a player. Not like I don't want to say player, maybe that's a strong word, but it's like this person has a lot of distractions in their life. And that could be like, because this card even says, all that glitters is not gold. Look beyond the clouds. So it's like, I feel like this person could have been easily distracted by external forces, like whatever looked the most glittery to them in the moment might have like drawn their eye away. Like it's almost like when they say a squirrel moment, like you're just easily distracted by something else that might appear to be more exciting or appear to be more intriguing, right? And so I think that their energy probably came across as being like a little bit scattered in this connection, or is maybe coming across as being a little bit scattered. And it's interesting too because we've got the clarity. Oh, it says charity and trust. I thought it said clarity and trust. That would have made a lot more sense. But, I think that this person, their energy is so scattered. And, they learned or are learning through this relationship with the sapphire person, maybe how to better trust themselves, because sometimes when you're in that 7 of Cups energy, you're really scattered, you're confused, you're not sure what direction you even need to take or what path you want to invest in. A lot of times it comes from not knowing who you are, right? Like if you don't have a clear goal or you don't know who you are and what it is that you really want, how can you choose a path? right? So this person, I think, really had to learn in this relationship how to better trust themselves so that they can come out of this state of confusion here, and be more pointed and targeted in the way that they come across, not only in this connection, but in their life in general. And with vulnerability coming up here, this person, I think, had to learn, or maybe has realized, if you're in separation with them, that like, you know, they need to be vulnerable in connections. It's like being able to express how you really feel gets you closer to what it is that you want versus holding it inside or remaining in a place of confusion here. You know, I also wonder if this person was just generally confused in this connection, not really sure like what the other person might have wanted. And because of that, it may have kind of like stunted them or made them unable to just like ask for clarity here. You know, so I think that they were just more focused in on like themselves and like the confusion they were feeling and trying to figure out like, how do I better trust myself? How do I figure out what path I want to be on here, just in general? Yeah, because I don't know that this person fully opened up with that 7 of Cups here because they were confused. Maybe for some of you, they did communicate that they were confused. And that would make sense. Like for some of you, I do think that this person did communicate that they were confused, with the throat chakra being highlighted here. And maybe for them, this was a lesson in being vulnerable. Like, okay, like I finally told the sapphire person how I'm feeling. I got clarity around what was going on here. Maybe that was really big for this person to open up and express that they were confused and to have that conversation. You know, it's interesting too because we have a 52 and a 53. So it's like, it does make me wonder, like, if communication was sort of like on different levels in this relationship too. Maybe this person was more clear in their communication. I was reading them not that way. It could be that way for some of you. But for some of you, I do think that they addressed and they were vulnerable with how they were feeling confused here. Now, we also have the sapphire person over here. This talks about regenerating community. We have a Queen of Cups and we have equality. So this says, if someone cannot reciprocate my same efforts, I do not continue to try harder. I take it as a sign that we may not be on the same page at this time. This was the lesson for the sapphire person. And this makes a lot of sense with that Queen of Cups here, because the Queen of Cups is emotionally expressive. She's kind, compassionate. She is someone that holds space for other people emotionally and who is going to give emotionally to another person because she cares, right? And with the Sapphire card, you know, talking about regeneration of community, I do feel like this Queen of Cups person was holding space for this person, even if they were being inconsistent. I think that this person was, you know, I think that this person had a lot of deep feelings and emotion toward the other. And had almost like, when I think of that regenerate community, it's like they created a safe space for the other person here. But the lesson that they had to learn, which makes a lot of sense with the Queen of Cups, who typically tends to be more of an empath, you know, like, I think that this person might have learned in childhood to be this way, maybe from their mother, you know, that like, it's beautiful to give, and no, we shouldn't necessarily always expect something in return if we're giving from a genuine place. But you know, when it comes to like relationships, you do want to see on some level that the other person is appreciative, right? So I think this person really came to the realization that they may have been doing too much for the other one in this relationship. The sapphire person was doing too much for the blue person and not really seeing the same level of effort being reciprocated. And that does make a lot of sense because the blue person was confused. This blue person was like all over the place and not really targeted and pinpointed in what it is that they wanted here. Right? And this person's energy also is stemming from that childhood, right? So there was something in this person's childhood, I think, around emotions and around relationships that probably felt really confusing to them or scattered. And I think that this is why they were showing up this way with the sapphire person. So I want to get just like a couple more. Let's just get a couple more cards here for clarity. So Spirit, let's go ahead and clarify this blue person's energy and what they learned from this connection. The influence. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This person, yeah, with the Seven of Cups, they had a lot of distractions or have. And I think that they needed to learn to trust themselves. This might be the person that just always is going to their friends for advice. They can't think for themselves yet, or they don't know who they are yet. So they rely on feedback from others to kind of get that confidence. It's like charity and trust. They don't trust themselves yet, you guys. Or maybe they've just realized that this was an issue for them, because we do have lessons here. Let's get another card for this Sapphire person. What did they learn from this connection? Guarded. Yeah. I think that this Queen of Cups person maybe learned here that they don't necessarily have to bear it all right away. You don't have to give too much too soon. I think that you can be kind and compassionate, but you want to make sure that you're not giving up all of your heart until you're sure that the other person is really able to be on your level. You know what I mean? And I think that's why that guarded energy is coming up. I think this person just learned maybe to protect their energy, set better boundaries and things like that from being connected to this other person. Normally we look at guarded as being a negative thing, but it's not always negative, you guys. Especially if you're learning lessons like this person is around equality and reciprocation and not giving way too much to yourself before, you can feel that it's reciprocated, that it's equal exchange of give and take, right? So it's okay to kind of, hold some of your heart back until you see that reciprocation energy. And I don't think that the Seven of Cups person was ready. Intuitively, I feel the Queen of Cups is a lot more emotionally mature just in general. And this blue person is coming across as just still needing a lot of time to kind of grow up and get more confident in themselves. You know what I mean? More independent without other people in their ear all the time. Right? Yeah. So this is interesting, group 3. I think I'm going to go ahead and close it out there. But hopefully this was able to help you guys out. It definitely feels like each person learned some pretty interesting lessons from this relationship, specifically based in childhood. So I would love to hear kind of how this message resonates with you. So drop me a comment down below and let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a new reading really soon.